Welcome back. Have you ever wondered how to make a healthy stir fry, like a really healthy stir fry? There's lots of other videos out there. I'm gonna show you how to make a healthy stir fry that uses chickpeas instead of chicken, and I'm gonna saute these veggies with no oil. So we've got our gorgeous ingredients here for our True 5 stir fry. This is a real healthy stir fry. A lot of the stir fries that we assume are healthy have a lot of things that we don't include in True 5. We are all about fruits and vegetables here. You can see we've got lots of vegetables. We love adding mushrooms. This has got one of our legumes. It's got chickpeas in it. And if you're used to having chicken or beef in a stir fry, this is a great replacement. It's still going to fill you up and it's packed with plant-based protein. This is a wonderful alternative to put in your stir fry. And for the sauce, we've got a Kikkoman Stir Fry Sauce. This is a favorite in my house. This is what we've used for years. I've tried other homemade sauces and there are plenty of those that we could try that don't have any oil, don't have any sugar. But for me as a busy mom, this is really user-friendly for me. And since I have so many other healthy, nutritious things going on here, I feel okay about it. All right, so we're just about ready to throw this on our frying pan. Now, a big thing about frying is that most people assume that in order to fry vegetables or mushrooms or to saute, that we need oil. We don't. Good news. So I'm actually going to show you how you can saute and stir fry all of this beautiful goodness with no oil at all. We're actually going to just use a little splash of water here and there when we need it. And I'm going to show you what that's going to be like. So to cook this up, I've got my electric fry pan here. I love the nonstick surface on this, so that again really helps us not needing to use oil at all. But even if you had just a fry pan on your stovetop, using this water, you're not going to need any oil, I promise. So we're gonna start with the vegetables that will take the longest to soften. We're gonna start with the carrots. You just dump it on there. You don't even need to heat water or oil on here. Now for the water sauteing, I'm just gonna be watching these vegetables. If they start to stick or they start to brown a little bit, that's showing me that it needs a little bit more moisture. And most of the time, it just needs more movement. As long as you keep it moving, it's not gonna stick and you're gonna be fine. It's even safe to let it sit there for a little bit. If you're worried that it's getting a little dry and you don't want any browning on it, then you just put a little splash of water. Move it around a little bit. So for this stir fry, this is the process that we're gonna go through as we just add each vegetable. After the carrots, we'll just go down the line. Each item that takes longest to cook will come first. You can do this with any vegetable, any legume. We just try to make those choices from the True 5 food groups. So this will take about 5, maybe 7 or 8 minutes for this to start to really cook a little bit so that we're ready to put the broccoli in. Cut, 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 cook, cook, cook. This is where you can put your kid in charge of this job. Or your roommate. So here you can see it's starting to kind of stick and brown a little bit. And just throw a little more water in there. A little bit goes a long way. You don't need a lot. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes or so. The carrots are starting to kind of change color and look like they're starting to soften just a little bit. Remember, these are going to continue to cook as we continue adding more and more things. So now's probably a good time to add the broccoli. What's really great about water sauteing, doing this without oil, you don't have to stress about adding water every single time. Depending on the type of food that you're adding, it's going to actually render a lot of its own moisture. So especially broccoli, it has a lot of moisture in it. So I'm just going to move this around really good, and it'll probably do fine without even adding water yet. All right, so that broccoli will probably need another 5 minutes of its own to start to soften, and then we'll start adding the next vegetable. While that cooks, let me talk a little bit about why no oil. Why does this make it healthier to do this water saute process instead of adding a bunch of olive oil or whatever kind of oil to this stir fry? I am gonna keep moving this around so it doesn't burn. There we go. Oh, this is starting to smell good already. So the thing about oil, it's a highly processed, highly refined food. Think about, say, olive oil. If you took an olive and you wanted to make oil out of it, well, every whole food has 3 macronutrients. You've got protein, carbohydrate, and fat. Every whole food. A potato has all 3 of those things. A strawberry has all 3 of those things in different degrees, right? So if you take an olive, and if you want to make olive oil out of it, you strip away all of the carbohydrate and you strip away all of the protein. And what are you left with? Yeah, 100% fat. Okay, so when you put it that way, it's like, oh, I get it. Okay, yeah, oil doesn't sound so healthy anymore. So what happens when we do that, we've stripped away all of the fiber too, all of the mass of this food that our body is designed to process when it's in its whole natural state. I'm gonna stir this stir fry a little bit more. All right, this is starting to look good. So when you strip all those parts away from a whole food, you also take a lot of the nutrients. It is just empty calories, it really is. So when we eliminate the oil from a dish like this, you're saving yourself hundreds of calories. There's 120 calories in just 1 tablespoon of olive oil. That can add up really fast. So this is a great alternative. Okay, this is looking really good. Okay, I think we're ready for the bell peppers. This is my favorite part of the stir fry. Like I said, you can do your favorite vegetables. These are my favorites. So your stir fry might look a little different than mine. So if you want to choose your own favorite vegetables to throw together in a stir fry, you could kind of see at the beginning of the video, I've got pretty much 1-to-1 ratios of each ingredient that I'm using. So just pick your favorite veggie and have about the same ratio and you're good to go. It's fun to make it colorful. Got a rainbow of colors in here. Remember, when you're prepping your veggies for this, you want to kind of make them bite-sized pieces too. You can take that or leave it, I don't know. So at this point, our last 2 ingredients are the chickpeas and the mushrooms. The mushrooms will take some time to cook down, and then the chickpeas will be the last thing that we add. Those are already cooked because I just used canned cooked chickpeas, so all they need to do is warm. I'm watching this broccoli. As the color changes, you can tell it's starting to cook. You can actually see the dark and the light green change. And the more the color changes, the more soft and ready it is. I'm gonna go ahead and add these mushrooms. Now, this looks like a lot more mushrooms than what I had, but if you're used to cooking with mushrooms, you know that these will cook down quite a bit. Now we're getting some really interesting texture in this dish, especially if you're used to having a lot of chicken or beef in a stir fry. The mushrooms are really going to kind of give that familiar look and that familiar texture that you're used to. Mushrooms usually render quite a bit of liquid, so I'm just trying to keep it moving really often, but I'm not going to add a lot of my own water to this. I do have to share a little story with you. When my husband and I started changing the way we were eating and when we cut out oil, I just stopped cooking with it. You know, it used to be whenever I would saute an onion or do a vegetable stir fry or anything, I mean, almost any recipe that uses a fry pan, the first ingredient is oil, isn't it? Well, when I learned more about what oil was and how calorie dense it is, I stopped cooking with it. And you know what? Without even trying, my husband dropped 10 pounds in a month just by cutting out all of that extra empty calories. Those mushrooms are starting to change color. They're starting to soften and shrink a little bit. That's how I like my mushrooms. So we're getting close. Another thing about leaving that oil out is that the actual flavor and variety of all of these vegetables are going to really come through in the finished product. It's not going to be covered in that rich, high-fat oil. Okay, that is looking really great. See how the broccoli is starting to almost wilt a little bit? This is just about fork tender. And you can do this to your preference. For me, I'm usually cooking for my family. I've got little kids. They don't like munching on really crunchy, al dente vegetables. So I try to get them to the point that they're nice and soft and easy for them to chew and stab with their fork. So that's what I'm watching for. That's looking pretty good. We've still got a little bit more time that this will be here because we're gonna do the chickpeas and the sauce. Yeah, this whole time the mushrooms have been in here, I haven't had to add any water. There's a lot of water that just came with them. Let's get these chickpeas in here. Like I said, this is just canned chickpeas. Another word for chickpeas, by the way, garbanzo beans, same thing. So you don't have to add the chickpeas if you don't want to. I like adding them because it makes this dish even more filling. Anytime we get our grains and our legumes or our beans into a dish, it adds to kind of that satiating feeling that you have during a meal that we're used to getting from meat, but now we can get it from our whole grains and our beans. All right, let's see. So you can see why this is such a healthy meal. We've already got a lot going for us in that True 5 nutrition. We've got lots of vegetables and we've got a legume, and then we're gonna serve this over brown rice. So we've got 3 food groups right there. Okay, this looks like I want to eat it, so I'm thinking that it's done. So we're gonna add the sauce.
Did you talk about the sauce?
Yeah. Now, as I said, I'm usually cooking for my family, which means I'm really cooking for my husband, right? He likes this really saucy, so I dump the whole bottle in. You can go less if you want. So I'm gonna turn the heat down on this, and you keep that moving, so since this pan is really hot right now. There we go. That's looking good. So that's our stir fry. We're ready to try this out. All right, I'm gonna keep eating this. Subscribe to our channel. We have new videos every day. Let us know if you like this type of video. Would you like to see some more healthy recipes? Let us know in the comments below.